Hey everyone, welcome back to Highland Forge. Today, on doing a documentary series for Going to Other Forges, I'm here with Glenn Horr at Highland Forge in West Virginia, Berkeley Springs. How are you today, Glenn?
Doing fine, Holly.
Hey, good.
Yeah.
So, could you tell me a bit about your forge? When did you start up this forge? When did you, get here and yeah?
Well, we moved here in '84 and started setting up, and so we've been here since then. I started back in the late '70s over near Wheeling.
Oh, okay.
Where I grew up. So I've been forging for quite a while. Pretty much self-taught. Took some workshops.
Oh, okay. You never had a master?
No.
Okay.
Not when I got started. It was not too much available. I found out about some workshops at a craft school.
Awesome. Okay, yeah.
A couple of those, and
then
there's a lot of practice at the anvil.
Yeah, about to say, like, but that must have been interesting. I had a mentor. I had Dan Tokar, but like, I never really think about how many people do not have like mentors, or they just have to kind of learn on their own, and that's cool that you. I guess you were luckily you had a school you could go to that was nearby in Wheeling, so that's and so you set up here, and you've been doing. So that means you've been here for about a little over 30 years or something like that. Okay, cool.
Yeah,
And
full time.
what makes you enjoy blacksmithing, or what's the thing that made you kind of keep doing this and wanted to make it a profession for yourself?
I guess when I first got started, it's such a fascinating craft. You're dealing with hot metal, shaping it, and there's always something new. I just find it really a fascinating craft to be able to take something so rigid and use fire as a tool to heat your material up and shape it and do whatever with it almost.
I understand. It's a simple but fun. I think that is the thing that really like enticed me as well.
Yeah.
It was that ability, that feeling of making something and shaping it with such physical determination.
Right,
it's fun. I agree. Like,
there's always other you can go just about anywhere with
exactly.
And it can be challenging or just basic at the same time, but it's still there's
something to enjoy about it. And and I know it's not for everybody, but if you love it and you just love to create, I think then I think you'll like it a lot. Yeah. Definitely like definitely a patience thing, but absolutely.
Yeah, I've always liked to make things and do things with my hands, so it really kind of fit with my.
Exactly, I agree. Yeah, I'm not the type. Yeah, I'm definitely not the type of person who likes to just sit on a computer or something like that. I agree. Yeah, no, I love making things, being hands-on. Okay, what is maybe I got an interesting question. What is the most interesting thing you've made? Do you have any way to like describe it, or like do you?
I've done some interesting projects. I guess probably the most interesting and larger project I've done was a set of gates for a church. That was quite a bit of detail, all traditionally joinery, mortise and tenon type of joinery.
Okay, wow, that is pretty cool. So you've worked, and like you've worked on gates, like, and that's another good question. Like, what is your skill set? What is like, I guess, or as a blacksmith, you've done a lot. I know, like, you make gates, you've done railings.
Right.
Okay.
Hardware, restoration hardware, contemporary hardware. Most of my line of work is like functional Unitarian type work. So a little bit of sculpture, but mostly functional, leaning toward the functional side.
Practical,
of
right.
Practical type of work. Some tools for other craftspeople. Of course, the blacksmith always made tools for all the other crafts.
Exactly.
So it was pretty important in small communities back in the years.
Exactly. Well, it's also important, and what I was taught by, again, Dan, he taught me how to make my own tools, because that's like the best, that's like the first, like really one of the first things I learned. It's like I had to make a hammer, I had to make tongs, I had to make So like
Yeah.
chisels.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
Boom tongs, you make the hammer there.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, I find that very fascinating. To make a tool, what, or make a project, make a special tool to make a project.
Exactly.
So.
That is, I think that is a fun part of it. I definitely like at first I was like, oh man, I don't want to make the tool. I want to make the sword, or I want to make the cool thing. But I'm like, actually, there's an appreciation for making the tool that you need first to make the thing that you want, because then you're like, okay, cool. Now I know two things at once.
Yeah, so I had a basic forge, an anvil, power hammer. So I had a basic shop already set up and going. And just that I'd gotten married in a year before, so to Susan, my wife, and we was looking for a place to settle down. So we looked out here and found this place for sale. And it was a bare building that was already here, and it kind of just got moved in, and over the years, got different things set up and
awesome.
Rearranged.
Yeah, I imagine it wasn't just this, or like, you had I have it all laid out. It's perfect. No, I imagine this took a lot of time.
Yeah, I didn't have the air hammer at the time. I didn't have the big tables at the time. So it was eventually, you start acquiring things as you want to do, or as projects might acquire different tooling, you start acquiring.
Excellent. Yeah. Exactly. No, that's great. I love to hear the story about how kind of things began, and then it just.
I think for the most part, people kind of just grow. It's hard to.
Oh yeah.
Find. I did happen to find. That's why I had pretty much a shop already going. I found a shop that was for sale. They wanted to sell the whole thing at one time, a small little shop, and so I ended up buying that. That kind of really jump-started my business a lot more.
Good. A lot of a very lucky circumstance.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, that was in the late 70s.
Oh yeah. Okay. Good. Well. So I know that you've done a lot of blacksmithing and for a very long time, but you've done teaching, right?
Right.
So how long have you been doing that, and how do you go about doing it?
Well, I've been teaching at Touchstone Center for Crafts. It's up in Pennsylvania near Uniontown, PA. Farmington is the closest town.
Okay.
Been teaching there close to 35 years plus.
Oh my God!
And,
Wow.
beginners class, and it's fun. I mean, I really enjoy going up there, passing along knowledge to other people. So it's been a kind of returning what I've learned from going to workshops. And then I go out to some individual, like demonstrations groups. They'll have a little day demonstration. I was recently up to Pittsburgh and did a demo up there for a group up there.
Right, okay.
Actually, I'm scheduled to go out to Missouri in the spring to demonstrate out there for a group.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
All right.
So, yeah.
Wow. Okay, so you've kind of been all over the place a bit on the East Coast, and all right, cool. So like, and I guess I can just as an idea, like when your first lesson with somebody is to teach them to make a leaf, because that's what I learned to do when I started. Did you?
Right,
is that what you?
Leaf, some of their basic drawing out techniques, because that's a really basic. Learn how to manipulate the material, moving into a leaf, make a hook, and get some of those basic twisting, some of those basic skills under your belt.
Excellent. Okay.
So yeah.
What's
it's a muscle memory thing to learn how to hammer properly.
Right. Absolutely. That's exactly what I was. Yeah. Just to kind of get the basics, all about foundation and getting you because you're the repetition.
Right.
Because everything else after that is pretty much that is like literally the foundation of everything. Just proper hammering technique and shaping.
Exactly.
And what do you find most enjoyable about teaching the craft to other people? Is there like a specific thing you could tell me? Like, I
think finding their interest and excitement about learning the craft.
Yeah.
And once they kind of get their hands on it and feel the excitement and see what they can do, it does take a little bit of a time frame thing to develop that. But once they kind of have persistence to keep up with it, I think then they can advance into the craft. But,
yeah, that's a good, great. I agree. That is exactly what a teacher should always look for in a student or be excited for.
I've had several students go on and kind of develop their own studios.
Awesome. Good. I love to hear that. So I noticed that you laid out some of your work to show us today.
Sure.
Yeah, so if you could just bring us on over here. Yeah. Show me what you have laid out for us.
Some of these are items I make for sale at some of the galleries around or at my open studios. So we got some leaf hooks of various kind of leaves. Typical poker, a little dragon.
I like that one a lot. That's great. I love the detail on that.
Some little basic hooks. This is a little coat rack.
Nice. Yeah, that is beautiful.
And, this is the sample ring that shows how everything on here starts with this size of stock. So it shows how the metal can be manipulated into different items, sizes. Like we was talking before, how the metal can be shaped when it's hot. So some other leaf samples, test pieces I've done. Doing a square knots, set up on how to do a square knot. That's how they're developed. So you start out with these two pieces like this. And slide them together.
Okay, that's neat. I like that.
That's how you make a square knot. And you'd flatten this out. And here's one that's done up with a two-way, and then it's twisted up. So
nice.
yeah.
Excellent.
Twisting, open basket twist. So.
Awesome.
So, there's some other things, some prototypes for some cabinet knobs there that I'm working on. And just, another big coat rack.
Yeah, I like that. I like how you do your, I love the line work on this. It's very smooth. I love it. I like how you, it's great.
And over here, there's a storyboard on educating folks when they see something. How's that done? So everything starts with this size of stock. You work across, and every step is displayed, so you end up with the leaf. So you can see how when the size of stock ends up with the leaf.
Awesome. Oh, that's great.
I've done some other storyboards for some other leaves and tools and so forth. So it's a good educational thing.
No, that's.
To show off.
Yeah, this is perfect. This is definitely perfect for people, especially trying to get into it or understanding the, how metals can be manipulated for a very simple overview. I like that. It's a very good idea. Well, just thank you for showing us this. All this is very beautiful.
Sure. There's bunches of other stuff around.
Oh, I can tell. It's not hard to not notice. Do you have any social medias that you would like to? Plug into this video. Yeah,
sure,
please.
Yeah. I'm on Instagram at Highland Forge _ West Virginia.
Awesome.
And
okay.
I have a web page. It's glensforge.com.
Awesome. That's like the name of my business. That's great. No. That's.
I got an S in there.
Oh, good. Yeah, just to make sure that it's a distinction. Excellent.
So,
Awesome. Yeah, please go check out his work. He's phenomenal. Great blacksmith.
Thanks.
Yeah, no problem. Well, thank you very much for showing us your shop and your forge and explaining a lot about what you do and yourself. And your items and the things you make are very beautiful. And Highland Forge here in West Virginia, Berkeley Springs. Thank you again.
Thank you. I appreciate you coming. I'm glad to show you around.
Absolutely. Good.